We are watching truly catalytic, collaborative, creative, compassionate climate leadership emerge from women and girls around the world.
Given the scale of the transformation that we're going to need to rapidly transition to zero carbon, we need to act together.
Of course, I feel a sense of urgency, particularly to use my platform to amplify the voices of the most marginalized individuals.
To empower the women, those who feel that they are powerless.
Climate change has finally become a very urgent challenge, and I celebrate that it has finally been recognized as an emergency. The first moment that I realized that we all had to work on climate change was when my daughters, who are now in their early 30s, were very young, and I discovered all of a sudden that species were disappearing around the world, and that I was about to give a planet to my daughters that was severely diminished.
The most vulnerable are hit first and worst by climate change, and that means women and girls, particularly living in conditions of poverty.
I have to say I'm so incredibly moved and inspired by Indigenous grandmothers around the world who are protecting water and land from corporations and governments.
In our rural communities, women are in charge of activities around homes, which include cooking, cleaning, wood gathering, making handicraft to sell, to put food on the table, among others.
There's a huge body of research that confirms that women are disproportionately affected by the impacts of climate change, and that's connected to the range of social and economic disadvantage that women experience in many aspects of their lives. For example, women are more likely than men to live in poverty, they're more likely to rely on agriculture and the land as a source of livelihood.
Something that the average person can do to fight climate change is to put pressure on the government, to put pressure on politicians to respond, to act, to learn more about what they propose to do to fight the climate crisis, and also to put pressure on corporations and the fossil fuel industry.
All the trees that I put in my project is the new plant from the nursery. It's not about transplanting the tree from the forest. That doesn't create a new green space. That's the reduce of the green space. So let's create more green.
Join a movement, one that pushes for real systemic change and demands accountability for the crisis that we're in.
People have asked me, am I optimistic that we will be able to get to a net zero economy by 2050? My answer to that is we have no other option.
There is enough technology to help us find solutions. There is common humanity to bring people together to share and mitigate issues we face as a result of climate change.
We've already lost so much and inflicted so much injustice on the least deserving. But I'm extremely motivated to keep fighting, and that's because this is not an impossible fight. There's no ironclad law of economics or physics that's standing in our way. The real obstacle that we face to addressing this crisis is political will, and if we act collectively, then we can create that will.